Hello and welcome to the Now Spinning Magazine podcast with me, Phil Aston. And on this episode, I'm delighted to have with me Russ Ballard. Many of my readers and viewers will know Russ from all the classic rock songs that we've listened to and bought over the decades. But I really want to talk to Russ today about his new album called Songs from the Warehouse and the Hits Rewired. This is a 2 CD double album and with a generous 13 tracks of new stuff, or new stuff to us. I don't know how many years it's taken for you to compile this, and then a reworking of another 13 of your many hits for other people. Can you tell us a bit about how this album came together? When did you start work on it?
Well, I've always made albums, right the way since I left Argent in the 70s. I've always maintained my songwriting, so
yeah,
I've made quite a few albums actually. So when the lockdown happened, I was always going into the studio, but when the lockdown happened, it did even more in the studio, because we couldn't go anywhere. So I kept writing and kept coming up with ideas, and I probably wrote about seven ideas, I think, during the lockdown. And then I was also putting down songs that I had written for other people, and most of them I'd done again because I'd done the demos years and years ago. When I say the demos, I did Since You've Been Gone in 1975, and I had that out as a single in 75. Then Richie Blackmore's Rainbow came out with the same song in 78.
Yeah.
Actually, before that, a band called Head East came out with it in America and had hit with it in America. And then Sherry and Mary Curry. There were 3 versions in the American charts, not at the same time, all different times. If that's of that same song, and but Rainbows was the biggest. That was the biggest version, But I had it out, 4 years before them. But mine was different. It was a different kind of recording, But people used to say to me, "Why don't you?" I used to make these albums that they were all original songs, and they used to say, "Why don't you make an album of the songs that other people have done?" So I used to sort of disregard it because, I'd already done the demos and things.
Of course, yeah.
As the years have gone on, I thought that's probably a great idea because so many people have asked me to do it. So this is why I've done it now. I thought if I don't do it now, I might never, ever do it, So I was also writing the original tunes through the lockdown. So I had 2 albums worth,
Wow.
Yeah, and then Frontiers Records asked, said, "We'd like to. We know you're working on a new album." I said, "Well, actually, I've got 2 albums." They said, "Oh, we'd love to do the 2. Release the 2 together." I said, "Yeah, that'll suit me."
Because the new album is stunning. I mean, the new music. I've been playing it non-stop since I've been given access to it, and especially. I love the way it's sequenced, Russ, because it opens up with Resurrection and Courageous. It's a great rock songs. You can just imagine other people thinking, making it their own as well. Great songs. And then the sequencing as it goes through different kind of textures and different tracks. But I mean, the 2, especially Courageous, I mean, what's the story behind that track? Because obviously that's when he releases a single and a video as well.
Yeah. Well, Courageous was a labor of love, to be honest, because that came from a story. And I'd love to get the story. I intend to get the story, actually, because I would like to speak to the girl that was the center point of the. It was a news item on BBC, and it was like middle of the day, 1:00 news. And I came over and I was just watching this thing. And you know how at the end of all this, all the news that goes on, it's all death and destruction, and at the end, get a puppy dog being saved from the ocean or something like that.
Yes.
On this one, it was about a girl. It was it was real about a girl, a family actually, a 12-year-old girl. I think she was about 11 or 12. Brother and sister, a sister of 8 and a little brother of about 6. Mother was ill. she had a multiple sclerosis, I think. And so this kid was getting up. She was a carer. She was getting up in the morning. She was preparing breakfast, bathing the mother, dressing the kids, giving them the breakfast, giving the mother the breakfast and stuff. And then you saw her walking the kids to school. She was a carer. And it was so moving. And you saw her walking along, holding the hands, sister this hand and the brother in the other hand, sort of thing, taking them and come home, the same thing again, bathing the mother and whatever. It was so, well, it made me tearful. So I thought, I've got to write a song about that. This is a song waiting to happen, So it goes, courageous girl, you're young and you're so strong, a mother to your brother for so long. Courageous girl, you're in a mad world. Don't see sadness, only grace, girl. Always there to care for your sister. Now your mother is gone. Courageous! That was the idea of it,
yeah. It's a really uplifting, anthemic, positive song. And that, I think that's one of the things that I really picked up from listening to the album is that, as you say, all around us, it's feels like storm clouds are gathering, but the music breaks through that, and it's very, very uplifting. I'd like to just dip back into your past because I grew up as an Argent fan, and so albums like In Deep, I love them, and I love your songs. It's Only Money, Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah.
I still love that line that's saying, spend £1 and it's time to get another round. Can you imagine?
You need certainly need a card with with the credit now,
Yeah, that's right. And I love songs like Thunder and Lightning as well from your final album with Argent.
You're older than you look. You're older than you look, Bill.
Yeah, I was a teenager back then, but I love those albums. But where I'm going is when you left Argent and you began your solo career, and I've got many of your solo albums as well, is that you became the go-to person for other people, to go toward your songs, and re-record them. And I remember a time when I was in Birmingham it was around the late 70s, 80s. I saw a band, I think they were called Praying Mantis, and they announced on the stage that they wanted to do one of your songs, but Rainbow had got there first. And I think that was
true. That was true.
That was I'll Surrender, wasn't it?
I'll Surrender, yeah.
Yeah. So it was almost as if there were people queuing up. We must get a Russ Ballard song because it's going to really open up. Almost around that time, you had also On the Rebound by Uriah Heep.
Yeah.
How did it feel? I mean, because your solo career, obviously, you've carried on with it, but your songs have kind of leapt off and had lives of their own through the hands of voices of other people. Yeah,
I know. Yeah. It was mainly because at that time, after I left Argent, I made an album pretty quickly, and then I didn't go on the road, which was a problem. My wife was pregnant, and I had a kid, and I found it difficult. I went to America and did a tour of America in 76.
Yeah.
And missed, I really enjoyed doing it. I played the Bottom Line for 5 days, went to the West Coast and played the Roxy for 5 days. And it was very successful. But, being on the road, I missed the family. I missed my wife and my son, Christian. And I found it very difficult. I wanted to see him develop and grow up and stuff. And I thought, well, I think I can make this happen, because I'd had a hit with Liar, that Three Dog Night recorded, which gave me sort of finance, certainly to last a few years. So that was successful. And then I had other songs, and then I had they did another one of mine on their next album, and then I had things like a Rainbow and Hot Chocolate before that, actually, with Someone Again. I had that, and Santana with Winning. And Roger Daltry was doing stuff of mine as well. And so it, I always said, someone up there likes me. So, that's how it happened, basically. I wanted to see the kids. I had 2 kids, by 78. So basically, I was off the road for 9 years. Mind you, before that, I'd been on the road for 11 years. I was on the road in 63 with Adam Faith.
Yeah.
63, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78. Yeah, I mean, all those years I was off the road. And it's very difficult, when you're Praying Mantis or you're Rainbow or these bands, they're on the road permanently touring all around the world, building up a following. You say, people just didn't know me. They didn't know. People like you, people in the business and stuff, all knew me, but it was very difficult to go out there, and people are getting older. The younger generation come along, they don't know you at all because they're not following your music, basically. So,
yeah. But ironically, they know you without realizing it because of all the songs that they
because of the songs. And I was always happy, to be honest. I was always, it was always lovely, to hear your songs being played, and it was a thrill, And people were coming to me and asking me for songs all the time. I couldn't write a good song fast enough, I could always write a song every day, but you couldn't always be that inspired every day. So I used to work really hard, basically waiting for that moment of inspiration, because you can't turn it. If we could turn it on, we'd all be doing it. The whole world would be doing it, So you have to either sit down and work through the bad moments, and hope there's going to be that little bit of grit in the oyster that makes the pearl,
Because people came to you for your songs after they heard them sometimes on your albums. I mean, you didn't actually write? Did you write for the artist, or did you think, no, you wrote the song for yourself and then said, I have this song if you wish to record it yourself?
I always wrote for me. Yeah. Even when I was doing it, I was writing for me, and I think trying to put things. So Adam Faith said to me years ago, when I was having hits, he said, why do you always give your best songs away? I said, I don't actually. I said, I record them and people hear them. It was like, I wrote I Don't Believe in Miracles in 70.
Hot Chocolate, yeah.
No, I Don't Believe in Miracles for Colin Blunstone.
Oh, right. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Which is a real slow song and a real doomy song. It's really doomy. But Rod Argent and Chris White heard it, and he said, oh, God, this would be fantastic for Colin. So, we cut that with Colin, Rod, Jim, Bob Henry and myself. Argent played on that, on Colin Blunstone's I Don't Believe in Miracles. I Don't Believe in Miracles. And so I was getting these things away, and it allowed me to pursue the writing. I always wanted to get a band back together and go on the road. I always wanted that. And as the kids got older, they didn't need us so much. They just didn't need mum and dad around so much, which was, in a way, it was good. You have to let go sometime. But I started going on the road. I was always doing little gigs with my brother's band. So I was always going out. He had a function band. So I'd go out there, sometimes play the drums. And then my friend Bob Henry joined the Kinks. So the Kinks drummer joined my brother's band, and he was playing, he was just doing functions and stuff. But sometimes he would go on a golfing tour and whatever, and my brother would phone me and say, Russ, can you play mixed drums on the weekend? Because, we've got this gig. And I used to go out and we were doing Beatles songs and Rolling Stones songs, and we were doing Quando, all sorts of stuff, So I've never stopped, Phil, never stopped.
Was it because it was Adam Faith that put you in touch with Roger Daltry, wasn't it, for his first solo album? Is that? Yeah,
that's right, yeah. Well, it's for Leo's album, actually. Leo, Adam Faith phoned me and said, Dave Courtney's found this kid. He's got an amazing voice and he's brilliant and and he's a good lyricist and stuff. And that was Leo Sayer. So he said, I've had a chat with Roger Daltry because he lived close to Roger Daltry, Adam Faith.
Yeah.
And he said, Roger's got a little studio in his barn and we could record the backing tracks there, you know. So we went down there and we're doing Leo's album.
Yeah.
And Roger said to Leo, can I have some of your songs that you're not using, you know, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Leo and Dave said, yeah. And I played the banjo and the show must go on, you know, ding, jiggy, ding, jiggy, ding, jiggy, diggy, diggy, ding. And then at the same time, we were doing bits and pieces for Roger. So we were doing paid all my dues, picked up my shoes, got up and walked away.
Oh, it's fantastic song.
Giving it all away, you know. Yeah. We did that. The same band, we did that. And then I did Roger's album. I produced Roger's next album. And then I did Leo's next album. Or was it next one? Which was another year. I did that album, did that in 13 days with Adam Faith. We did it together, but I played almost everything on it, you know, just basically Leo, Dave Marquis on the bass, and me. I was playing piano, I was playing guitar, and I was making my own album at the same time. It was hard work, but it was great.
Because you did, Roger did Free Me, which is a great track, and which is also on your new album. When you re-recorded these these hits from other people, were there, and obviously they were taken from the original demos, and some of them, listening to them like on the Rebound is a bit different. Did anyone take the songs in a direction that you didn't expect, or I mean, especially when you re-recorded them, were any to you really different in how you approached them because of how they're known?
So You Win Again, the Hot Chocolate one was different to my demo. Because I wanted, because I still had a recording contract with CBS at the time in 1976. And in 76, there was a lot of blue-eyed disco going around, you know, blue-eyed soul.
Yeah.
And Hall & Oates and Robert Palmer, Boss Gags, and a lot of those kind of bands. And I thought, I could do this soul thing. I'd love it. I'd just love it, you know. And I made this track, which was So You Win Again. And I thought it was a really good demo. It was faster than Hot Chocolates, but it was had more of a dancey thing to it, you know, and I took it that direction and took it into CBS Studios up in Soho Square and played it to Maurice Oberstein, who was the head of the company, you know. And I said, I think I've got a hit here. I think this sounds really strong. Played it. And he went, that's not for you, that's for a black band, sort of thing, you know. And in fact, he was right, actually. It turned out to be right. And Mickey Most heard it. I didn't pursue that because I thought if the record company don't think it's right for me, they ain't going to work on it.
They're not going to get behind it. Yeah.
They're not going to get behind it. So Mickey heard it, and he was in the studio within like 10 days, and and did it, and it's slower. And I thought, I couldn't get used to it. It's a bit slow. I think he might have he might have blown it with this production. It's quite so, with that feel. Yeah. And I thought, oh dear. And it was number one in 3 weeks, you know. So I got that wrong, you know.
The other band that you've been associated with from Argent is the band Kiss, not just them collectively, but also individually as well. I mean, especially God Gave Rock and Roll to You, which took on a life of its own, didn't it, from being in that film? But not only them, it's New York Groove as well as being recorded by Ace Frehley. And as I was preparing for this interview, I remember buying Some Kind of Hurricane, one of your singles. And that was covered, wasn't it, by Pete Criss, I believe? Yeah,
it was. Peter Criss did it, didn't he?
Yeah.
I've never seen that single. Is that a single or was it an EP?
It's a single. It was the B-side was an older track called You Can Do Voodoo.
Oh, that was mine.
Yeah.
So they used the same title. God, I've never heard that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some Kind of Hurricane.
That's it. Yeah, it's great. It's a great
Some
track.
Kind of Hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun to do. I enjoyed doing that, you know.
Yeah, so it's amazing. I mean, obviously, New York Groove came from the band Hello, didn't it, in the UK?
Yeah. We made that up in this. Well, They had never been in a studio before because they were only 16 years old. So
Wow.
I took them into the demo studio. They loved it being in the demo studio. Mic'd them all up, and all I had in my head was a title, which was New York Groove.
Yeah.
And I thought this could be, and I worked that out, and I was sitting down, never heard the song before, and I made it up.
Really?
Yeah, that they would tell you, if you ever meet them, they would tell you this is how it happened. They've got them, first of all, before anything, to get the beat, I got them stamping on a trestle table. They're those big, what those big boots called, those
Doc Martens, but
those huge boots. Yeah. And I got them on the bang. I'm doing that,
Yeah.
I said, okay, E. Play this beat. And they were playing E, the Bo Diddley beat,
Yeah.
And I was going, okay, been a year since I was here. And I had a writing pad in my hand, writing out the lyrics as I was doing it. On the street, I'm just passing my time away. Don't you hey, to the left and to the right. That's how I did it, and working it with them, and got to the pre-chorus section, and I didn't know where to go with it. I thought, I want to call it back in the New York Groove. What do I say just before it, it was basically almost like the first rap. I went, here I am again in the city. With a fridge full of dollars, and that's how that. And I tell you, we did that start to finish. Apart from mixing, recording that and writing, it took about 2 hours altogether. Amazing.
That's amazing. As writing songs throughout your career, have you had times when the muse has seemed a bit out of reach, or have you always just thought, has it come easy to you throughout your career, or have you had times when it
comes easy? It comes easy when you have you're certain of an idea. You can spend a lot of time on a track, and then you get to, after working on it all day, thinking, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. But when you got you really know when you got something really strong, and it's inspiring, and I can finish things really, really quickly. The song really, really quickly. Not the production so much, but obviously every songwriter has a dip. But, those moments when it's not happening. But I used to work in the early days when I was making the albums and things and doing, I was writing all the time, basically. I was writing, take the kids to school, early in the day, or when my wife took the kids to school, I would sit at the piano and I'd work from 9 till 1, have some lunch, and then go back 2 or 3 and work to 6, 7. Every day I would do it. And I did that for 2 years.
Wow.
And even when I was with Argent, I was doing that. When I was with Argent, we'd be doing gigs, and we'd be going to Birmingham. But I know so well. We'd be going up there, which wasn't too bad. We could go to Birmingham, we could do a show and get back, and we get back 3 o'clock in the morning. I go to bed. The roadie would take the other guys back to home, and but I'd be up at 7 in the morning writing tunes, and then they'd turn up next day, and let's say, and I'd get ready to jump in the car, and we go to Manchester, or we'd go to Bournemouth somewhere and do a gig and get home. If I got home at 4 in the morning, I'd still get up at 7 because I thrived. I loved. For me, it was a passion, and now I know what the word is. It is a passion. Then I didn't know. I didn't even think passion. This is a passion. I just thought I love doing this. I just love doing it, even though I'm shattered. I love doing it. But I did that for 2 years like that. And
So
then
did you build up like a library of ideas, or or
yeah,
you
I think
you
so.
did? Or are you the kind of person that sometimes said, "Well, this isn't going to work," so you just you kind of failed early and let it go, and then
Yeah.
went back to something else?
Yeah. That used to happen,
Yeah,
And I think you get back, and I think this is a philosophical thing. I think you get back in life what you give out. What you do, you are what you repeatedly do. I think, that is the thing. And you gather a hell of a lot of information when you're an enthusiast. You listen to music all the time. You listen to things, what's going on. And I was pretty confident in myself, what I could do. And
because your songwriting, I think about when since you've been gone, as you say, was a hit for several bands. Rainbow took it to the highest point.
mm,
It didn't make you think, oh, Rainbow came back and said, have you got anything else, Russ, for the next album? You didn't, did you feel any pressure thinking, what do I give them this time? Or was it just like, well, I've got this and I think it's a good
I
song?
already had I Surrender. I had that already. And I did two songs there was another one. I did two in one session, actually, called I Surrender, and the other was called Madeleine.
Yeah.
And apparently Richie, I didn't send it, but the publishing company sent it to Richie. And he said, I don't like girls' names in songs or something like that.
Yeah.
He did I Surrender. And I thought, I didn't even bother to say to anybody in the publishing company or the record company or the band. I didn't, I could have said, I've got a great song for you. I was sure they wouldn't record a song called I Surrender. As young guys singing "I Surrender," they wouldn't touch it,
Yeah, and it was their biggest hit.
It was their biggest hit. It was their biggest hit, But
Yeah.
Since You've Been Gone's turned out to be now a classic. But "I Surrender," and it so surprised me. That's why now in life, anything can happen as far as I'm concerned, because the strangest things have happened to me. Certain things have happened. I've written a song years ago that ended up, had the song for years, and just forgotten all about it. And it was very African influenced.
Yeah.
It ended up with Nelson Mandela doing a rap on it.
Wow.
When I say a rap, it was a talk on the song.
Yeah. So, just as I start to sum up, when you pulled together 13 tracks for the re-recorded ones, you had so many to choose from.
Yeah.
Was it easy for you to make the short list of the songs?
Yeah, I was thinking about them, and I thought winning. Winning's my story. It's the story of my life, basically. One day I was on the ground when I needed a hand. It couldn't be found. So far down that I couldn't get up. One day I was one of life's losers. Even my friends were my accusers. In my head, I lost before I begun. Had a dream, but it turned to da-da-da. And now I'm winning. So, but when I heard Santana wanted to do it, I thought it was great. Keith Urban's done a really good version of it too.
Isn't it also, I was just thinking, it's perfect for Santana. It's almost as if they picked the song that was right for them because of the kind of person he is and how their positive vibe that they have. It's a perfect song for them, isn't it?
Yeah, and apparently it goes down really well in Vegas as well. They have a season there occasionally, so that's a good one for them.
I've got to ask this question because I've always wanted to know. Because another thing, apart from your songwriting, your image of having the sunglasses, etc., is the guitar. It's so iconic, isn't it? The guitar with the holes in it.
Yeah.
Just for my viewers and listeners, how did that design come about? Because obviously it's a Fender Stratocaster, but it's unlike any other Fender Strat, and you still use it to this day.
Yeah, I still use it. Yeah, it's a strange one because when I was with Adam Faith years ago, from '63, I was with them from '63 to '67.
Yeah.
So while we were in the roulettes, Bob Henry has been my friends. Bob Henry was the drummer in the roulettes, and we were friends from when we were like 12, 13, 14, wow. Right the way through. We lived very close to each other. He turned out to be a sensational drummer. And we stayed friends right the way through. We were in the roulettes together. And We stayed friends. We left together. And then while we were in the Roulettes, our friends made a record. Our friends were called Unit 4.
Yeah.
This is in 1965.
Yeah.
And they made this record, but they didn't have a band and they didn't really have a lead guitar player. They strummed acoustic guitars and they're very much like a folk band.
Mm-hmm.
But so when they came to make records for Decca, they needed a band, obviously session musicians and things.
Yeah.
They made a single called Greenfields, which wasn't a hit, with 500 miles on the other side. And when they told us they had a great song for the next single, and they said, "Oh, we're playing to come up to the pub tonight. We're playing in this. We're practicing this little hall." So I went up there and went in this, and they played Concrete and Clay on acoustic guitars. You to me are sweet as roses in the morning. You to me are soft as summer rain at dawn. Your love we share. There's something there, sidewalks in the street, concrete and the clay beneath my feet begins to crumble. You know, it was really good.
Yeah.
It's
Wonderful.
a great tune, you know.
Yeah,
It's amazing. And they'd written it, Brian Parker, the guitar player at the time, and Tommy Moeller, the singer, wrote the lyrics. And so when they came to record it, they asked if I'd play guitar on it. I played acoustic guitar on it. Bob played the drums. And so we made that. That was 65. That became number one over here. And there was two different versions. Their version, and a guy called Eddie Rambo had a hit with it in America. There were two versions in the top 20 in America. And you asked, what was the question you asked me? You asked me, it was
about the guitar.
To Argent, was it? Oh, the guitar.
The guitar, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking the rhythm guitar player.
No, that guitar that is just you. As soon as I see it, it's Russ Ballard.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing it this morning in the studio straight. I've been trying out some foot pedals and things. So I've been in there. Buster Meekin had a black Stratocaster.
Yeah.
And he said to me, he wanted to sell it because he found another guitar. So he said, "Do you want to buy my Strat?" I said, "Yeah, that was a 65 Strat." So I bought it from him and I looked at it and I already had a Stratocaster. I think I had two Stratocasters at the time, actually. And I said, I asked my friend, Jim Wilkinson, my school friend from years ago. He was going to the Royal College of Art.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so it was pretty clever. And I said to him, you know, those in the 60s, those aluminium chairs, they had holes in them.
With the holes in, yeah.
Backed them up, didn't they? And
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In the back and on the seat and everything, they all had holes. And I thought they looked cool. But they were basically, I think, to make them really, really light, you could stack them up and carry the 50 of them together, you know. So I said to Jim, I said, "Can you cut holes in these, in this guitar?" He said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "How do you want them?" I said, you decide where you want them. Sort of, however you want them, you know, and cut it around, make it look like something else. He also cut that thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What they call it, the horn. He cut that basically a little bit off, so he made him look more symmetrical. And I loved it. And I said, "Can you make it silver like the chairs, you know?" So he sprayed it silver. It looked great. So, you know, then we joined Argent. We left Rod. Met Rod. And Rod said, "You know, will you be in the band?" You know, left. The Zombies had been split for 2 years, I think. And he said, "Would you, we fancy being in the band?" And Bob. So we both joined and became Argent, you know. And I just
remember it so well because being at school and saying in the playground the next day, people saying, "Did you see that when you hold your head up on top of the pops? Did you see that guy's guitar with all the holes in?" And then I remember you playing on Giving It All Away on the Nogger Whistle Test with
that was on there, wasn't it? Yeah.
And I thought, oh, it's that guitar. And obviously watching your new videos, there it is.
It's still there. Yeah,
it's still there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still there. But it's a good guitar. But I do also play a Gibson Les Paul as well. which I have. So I've just been trying out some new equipment. I'm doing some gigs in Germany.
Yes. So it must end on that. Well, you've got some gigs coming up, haven't you?
For 3 weeks, So I've been trying out some different ideas for equipment, and I think I found a really good situation at the moment.
So what's it like preparing to go out live? Because you know, as you say, people know your songs, and obviously this album is going to raise your profile as well.
Yeah,
it's great. Both albums are fantastic. Who's in the band with you?
I've got a great band. I've got Mark Rapson on keyboards.
Yeah,
it's amazing. He's another Rod Argent. It's great. PJ Phillips on bass. Who's Mr. Bass basically. He's brilliant. Roley Jones on the other guitar, who's a great player, and John Miller on the drums. It's a really good band. The only trouble is we've got 3 weeks really. I found that, we did a tour 2 years ago in Germany, and we just got it together by, we had 8 gigs, and we were sounding like, they talk about a well-oiled machine. Well, we were a well-oiled machine at the time, but, by the time you're well-oiled, it's just about to finish the tour,
Yeah.
So we're making sure it's going to be good. It's a great band, but they do sing the songs. And I think sometimes they think we are a tribute band, we start doing all these songs, we're doing God Gave Rock and Roll to You and, I Surrender and Since You've Been Gone. They think we're a tribute band.
Yeah, I bet that must be such a strange place to be. You're the composer who wrote all these fantastic songs, and as you say, if you did the second CD as a set list, people would think you were covering classic rock songs. It's just amazing. But the new ones, all of them are just the same, and it makes me wonder whether, as the years roll by, people will dip into your first CD, the first part of this album, and we'll start to see those covered by other people.
I thought the same thing, actually, Phil. I was wondering about that myself. Life has a funny way of making things very different from what you conceived in your head. But that's life. That's how it is.
No, well, I wish you all the best for this album. I think it's fantastic. I love every track on the first album, and of course to hear these classics revisited and hear them from you, the person who created them and where they came from, is wonderful.
Thank you.
Community really is. And so, if people want to find out about you, they can go to russballardmusic.com. Yeah, and there's some great stories on there. It's a great website, so people can find out more about you as well.
RB News.
Yeah.
RB.news is that's the first one you mentioned was the first. Russ Ballard Music is Sven. He's a German guy that runs my things.
Oh yeah.
He runs that. Carol Williams runs Facebook. Russ Ballard Musician. You get it on Facebook. Yeah. And also RB News, which is Sue Robinson. She runs that. That's once a month, and there's great stories. I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's loads of stuff on there.
Wow.
Loads of stuff with. And I have a diary every month. I keep that.
Oh, brilliant!
And I've got lots of friends.
Well, yeah. I'm not surprised with all the music, how it's found life around the world, the bands that have covered it. I was just thinking, finally, on the Rebound by Uriah Heep, it basically relaunched them.
I know. That was a hit in the States, in the States particularly, and particularly, and it was. I loved it. The way the guy sang that song was just amazing, and obviously, girls, even ABBA have cut my songs.
Yes, they have.
There's not been that many, but I had hits with both the girls in the States. Frida Did I Know There's Something Going On that Phil produced.
Yeah.
What was the other one? The other one was for Agneta. I did 2 for Agneta, which was Can't Shake Loose and Wish the Night Could Last Forever. But it's fun songwriting, But no one knows who you are. But the great thing is that you can keep incognito, go anywhere and hear your songs. And there's something lovely about that,
Well, I think there's something lovely about the fact that because you've got a couple of videos out and this is people will have a better idea about That's Russ Ballard.
Yeah.
So that'll be really good. So the album Songs from the Warehouse and The Hits Rewired is out on April the 25th on Frontiers
20,
Records.
yeah, 20 on Frontiers. Yeah. Thanks, Phil.
It's on vinyl and CD, is it? On both
Yeah,
formats?
violent. Yeah. Vinyl, CD. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Russ, and good luck with the tour. And it's been brilliant to talk to you, and I can't wait to get a copy of the album myself in my hands. But it's been wonderful listening to it, and take care, and hopefully I'll talk to you again in the future.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. When we're paying up that way,
Yeah.
Come and see us.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, Russ. Thank you very much. Bye.
Take care, Phil. All the best. Thanks. Bye.
A huge thank you to my guest, Russ Ballard, who's about to release 2 albums in one, Songs from the Warehouse and The Hits Rewired, 2 CD, 2 album. I mean, it's just packed with tracks. There's 13 songs on the first one, all new songs to us as Russ Ballard fans, and then 13 tracks of his, I'll say his greatest hits, the songs that he's picked to re-record, the ones that he wrote himself that all of us will know from bands like Rainbow, Since You've Been Gone, which I happen, to those of you watching this in the video, I have in front of me. And the fact I didn't realize how many people had recorded that. I bought the Head East album not that long ago and thought, why are they covering Since You've Been Gone? And I Surrender. And as I said in the interview, I remember Praying Mantis saying they'd been picked at the post by Richie Blackmore and getting hold of a Russ Ballard track. Such was the demand for songs by him. There were so many. I'm not going to try and read them out now. Just go to russballardmusic.com or Wikipedia and you'll see all these classic songs. But also check out, as I said, this new album. Go to YouTube, see the videos for the new tracks as well. And that iconic guitar. But I really enjoyed that interview. I grew up listening to Argent, and so much of my soundtrack to my, I'm going to say, not say just my youth, but my life as I've gone through it, has been written by Russ Ballard, songs by him. And it was wonderful to hear his recall and how he just started singing songs from different periods of his past, word for word. And also how easy it appears he finds it to just write songs. And that story about New York Groove and how it came together for the band Hello, great band. Any of you remember those from the mid-70s? And of course, Kiss. And I gave rock and roll to you. God gave rock and roll to you even. I mean, Russ Ballard has given rock and roll to us. Some wonderful songs that will never, ever fade. So thank you again, Russ, for your time today. And thank you for watching and listening to Now Spinning Magazine podcast. Please check out the website at nowspinning.co.uk. Subscribe, and if you become a patron or YouTube member, you'll get invited to the private Facebook group, the private WhatsApp group, and plus you can come to our own virtual pub called the Now Spinning Arms twice a month. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. We have lots of merch and mugs and stuff. But take care, keep spinning those discs, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon.